Welcome, everybody, to the fastest show on TV, where we talk all things in the sport of drag racing. Tour cars, dragsters, four wheels, two wheels, and all the things in between. It's This Week in Drag Racing with your host, Don O'Neill.
And if you want to ride, we can do it. Take this thing out to the boonies. We can live young, free, and wild.
This week in drag racing, we get the old rivalries. NMCA, NMRA, Ford, Chevy. But we're going to sit down and go behind the scenes with Andy Warren and Eric Bardekoff. Stay tuned.
Thanks for tuning in to This Week in Drag Racing. The show is a production of Streetway Marketing and Media and DragRacer.tv. To find out more about us, or to find out how you can be a part of the show, call us today. We'd love to hear from you. Now stay tuned for more from This Week in Drag Racing.
Joining us today on the show is Andy Warren, winningest driver in NMCA history, 10-time champ, but he's coming in from Kentucky and joining the show. How are you doing, Andy?
Pretty good, Don. What's going on?
Appreciate you taking time out in the off season, joining us. Tell me what it is that motivates Andy Warren to be a 10-time champ in NMCA action.
Man, just the thrill of being able to travel on a national platform, and everybody always says, we don't drag race for money, and well, it's kind of true. We're probably spending 10 times more than what we would make winning a race. But, what's nice about the series I race with is, they have a championship program where you do get, an award at the end of the year with, the Nitto Diamond Tree rings. And you get a lot of national publicity with magazines and online media, social media pages and things like that. So that's a lot of the drive. It's just, I'm just a little small town country boy, just going out and racing and trying to make my name of myself, and it's kind of working out pretty good.
Being the fact that you're driving for Scott Liebershire and Liebershire Racing, let's talk about the family aspect, of how you fit in to going factory stock or Copo Camaro racing.
Well, there's a funny story behind that. We were on stage at the NMCA Awards. I think that was 2018, I believe it was, 17 or 18. I'd won my 6th or 7th championship. And Scott, I think he wrapped his championship up in, it was either factory stock or a stock super stock combo. Well, I took all my rings with me on stage that year, and we were on stage getting our pictures taken, and he saw all my rings on my hand. He's just like, holy crap, what have you done? I was like, yeah, I've been around a little bit, and that kind of sparked a friendship. And a year later, we would just say hello in the pits, and later on in the year, I would just show up and make myself present, say hi, and end up eventually later on in the year, I started helping him between rounds on the cars. And then my brother and I helped him at the season finale in Indy, and we made a lot of progress with him. He ended up making like one of his fastest passes ever with us helping him on the track. So I think he really was impressed by, our ability to help tune and things like that. And he obviously saw how well I did that year driving. And he made a comment about possibly putting me in one of those Copos, and we worked out the details. And 2019, I kind of got a late start with driving that car. He finally brought the Gas Monkey Garage Copo to Memphis, and I tried to race their LSX Street King class, where it's like an index class, kind of like what I run in the Nostalgia Muscle car. And I had a rough start. Obviously I was super nervous. This car is worth more than my house. So I sit down in this thing and first pass out, they had the car set up super loose. I did this big wheel stand, and then I was a nervous wreck. I was like, you got to slow this thing down a little bit. And so I didn't do too hot at that race. And then finally throughout the year, I started getting better and better and better. And we got to the Copo shootout in Norwalk, and I got down to the semifinals out of like 70 or 80 cars. So started getting the feel of the car. And then last year, in 2020, we decided to go ahead and give it a go for a points championship with NMCA's stock super stock program. And first race off the bat, I got the runner up made it to the finals, and I started going rounds after that, and ended up locking up the championship. It's pretty amazing. I'm pretty lucky to have a friendship like that where I can have the opportunity to drive a car of that caliber. Pretty awesome. I'm stoked that he trusts me behind the wheel of something like that.
Well, I tease him all the time. I send him and Danny messages. I'm like, text message. I'm like, I got a helmet. I mean, let me, I can wheel. Let me drive, especially when it comes to the Copos. What is it that you're looking to accomplish going into 2021? You're a 10-time champ. You're out there, you're doing it with your brother, you're traveling around the country. What is it that you're looking to try to accomplish in 2021?
I'd like to double up championships and stock super stock again with NMCA, and then hopefully, if time allows, maybe make some Division III races. I made a couple. In 2019, I went to Joliet. I raced the divisional there. I didn't do so well. It's like the second time out in that car. And then last year, I did the NHRA National Open at Ohio Valley. I think you were there, or I believe you were. And I did pretty good there. But as far as time and money allowed the last couple of years, I haven't really had a chance to hit any NHRA stuff. So that might be a big my goal this year is to try to make some more NHRA events and see how I do there. Then I know Tyler Bohannon has the Sportsman Revival, whatever it's called, the stock super stock race in St. Louis. It's a big dollar stock super stock race. So I'm hoping if Scott has time and I have time, we really like to try to make it to that too. And in the Caprice, I just want to keep on trucking, keep trying to win. I mean, the car it's paid for itself, and it's super reliable. It doesn't eat up a lot of parts, and I think it's kind of on the threshold of, if I improved it anymore, it probably wouldn't be as consistent or reliable. So I'm going to keep the car as it is and just keep going for it.
Well, you got to have a little bit of notoriety going along. There's not many people that are wheeling Caprices at NHRA stock or super stock class racing, showing up at the racetrack. So we've got some goals set. Obviously, you got the Liebershire family that you're working with. Who else helps you along the way as you're out here chasing this ridiculous lifestyle that we call drag racing?
Well, first off, my wife Shelby, I met her at the track, so that's a great relationship to start right there. She loves going with me. She's my number one crew member. She's there at every race I go to. And we got a pretty good sized crew with all the Canarium Racing Engine family, Craig Watson, Jeremy Lyons, and Canarium, Steve Dow, and of course my brother John. My mom and dad used to go to every race with us too, and their health has declined over the years, so they root for me from home. But this is like I said, it's a big family operation. Whether it be friends or family, they're all extended family too. But yeah, Shelby really hangs in there with me.
Andy, I know you and I share a little bit of sponsor spotlight when it comes to the Magnuson world, but who else is out there keeping you spinning on the NHRA and NMCA tour?
I have so many involved with the Caprice. We can spend some time, probably all day, naming off the sponsors, but Airflow Research on board, Ron Francis Wiring, TRZ Motorsports, Fuel Lab, Kicker Audio is on board, and one of my premier sponsors with both cars will be Lucas Oil and Eaton True Track, plus Mickey Thompson Tires, VP Race Fuels, and Ross Pistons and Moroso. Super long list, but I'm so fortunate to have all these companies on board because with the one for them, I probably wouldn't be able to travel out like I do and afford to do these national events. So I'm really thankful to have such great support.
Well, Andy, as you leave, where can everybody keep up with you in 2021 as you chase the NMCA and NHRA tour?
You can check our Warren Racing Facebook page. It's Warren Racing 270. That you can just find my personal page. It's Andy Warren. You can search me. There's a picture of me on the stage with the NMCA Championship Award. It's easy to find. So you can check us out there. Also on Instagram, Warren Racing.
Well, Andy, I look forward to seeing you later on this year out on the racetrack as we'll both be spooling some Magnuson horsepower Take care and have a great off season. We'll see you soon.
You too. You too, Don. Thank you.
Take
care.
Thanks for tuning in to This Week in Drag Racing. The show is a production of Streetway Marketing and Media and DragRacer.tv. To find out more about us, or to find out how you can be a part of the show, call us today. We'd love to hear from you. Now stay tuned for more from This Week in Drag Racing.
Joining us on the show today, another Long Island New Yorker, Eric Bardekoff, NMCA, multifaceted Mustang. Hey, Eric, how are you doing today?
Hey, thanks for having me on the show.
Tell me, what motivates you to go to the racetrack?
Pretty much, hanging out with friends, hanging out with the family, and going fast. It's an addicting drug, and you always want to progress and just keep progressing, I guess.
What is it that about your family? How did you get your start? What is it that kind of keeps you really pushing as you chase this drag racing dream?
Racing is, it's just one big community. That's, growing up since I was 8 years old. My dad got us into junior drag racing. My dad's an old bracket racer as well. And, we just we hung out at the track, at a very young age since we could walk. And, we build relationships and work with companies. And, that's really what I love about, drag racing. Like I said before, drag racing, it's one big community. It's one big family. Cars are a universal language. And, you could talk to any drag racer. We go to, World Cup at the end of the year in October. People come from all over the country who don't even speak English. But, you somehow, at the end of the day, you drink a couple beers with them and, you hang out and you kick it, even though, you don't even talk, you don't even speak the same language in a way. So, that's really what's cool about, drag racing and cars. And, it's just, one big cool community.
So you talked about your dad being an old-time bracket racer. What age did you start actually behind the wheel drag racing?
I made my first pass, which was actually really cool. I got my tech card from West Hampton, one of the first passes I ever made when I was 8 years old. And, we just started with that. We've been drag racing since I was, I guess I stopped when I was 17. We stopped a year early. Because we started to, we run NHRA, stock, super stock. And we were building, a 68 Barracuda to run super stock for me. And it just progressed. My dad, he was running, stock eliminator, with the B stock automatic 64 Plymouth Fury. And, that story, progresses from, being a street car, a radical street car. Then he wants to go, bracket racing, and, he just ends up building a combination for NHRA. But yeah, I started when I was 8 years old, and I'm, loving it still to this day.
So where did the divide come, or the split, if you will, when you left the NHRA side and started with the NMRA in all the different levels of class racing that you've been doing? When did that happen, and why did it happen?
Well, we've been, like I said, we've been around bracket racing. When the Factory Showdown came out, I think it was 2015. I guess it was like 2015, 2014, 2015 at the end of the year. We went to, the U.S. Nationals, and we were sitting down, me and my dad, we were, hanging out in the stands once everything was over, and we were watching the Factory Showdown. And we were like, that would be pretty cool if we, build a car. Me being that, I do, chassis work, I do paint fabrication, all nine. So I could, I build the cars myself. And, we took, the leap and went ahead and contacted Dodge, and that didn't really work out. And, later that night, Jesse Kershaw from Ford Performance sat in our motorhome 12 o'clock at night and said, what can I do for you? And, being that we're diehard Mopar guys, thankfully I don't have any tattoos of Mopars, and he's like, we were sitting in the motorhome, and the Ford guy is just like, what can we do for you? I'm like, what do you mean? We're Mopar guys. And, we thought about it, and we're like, you want to know what? This is the right step. So, we built, we found a 2015 salvage title Mustang, and, we proceeded from there. I built, 750 cert, did the whole, Cobra Jet clone deal, and, we built it for the factory showdown, and that's what progressed us into, heads up racing. That's what got us involved. Now, after all the, politics and all the big, buck spenders and factory showdown came into play, we started to look into different options, and that was NMRA, NMCA. I raced NMCA prior to the U.S. Nationals. We did the back-to-back in Ohio, and that was my first NMCA race. That was that Cobra Jet reunion, and that's what really opened us up to the NMRA, NMCA. And, it was just a, whole, downfall. I guess it's not a downfall, on road to, building a badass radio car. Growing up, I always wanted to run X275. And my dad, being that he's an old bracket racer, he's like, no, that's too fast. Running, they're running like 440s in the 8th. And he's like, you're out of your mind. That's crazy. You can't do that. You're going to kill yourself. And now I finally sneaked it in under the rug, and I'm like, yeah, we're going a little bit faster. We're running 5.0s, running 490s, running, 470s. And now, our personal best is a 466 at 150 with this car. So, the combination progressed over time. We stuck with what we know. And, that's really what we're working with right now. It's still based on a factory showdown car. We have the same exact engine. You go on NHRA, blueprints for their engine. That's what my engine is. We took it to the next extreme. And that's what's really cool about, this car.
You made comments in there for where you started to where you are right now. You must have had a lot of sponsor help. Who's back there helping you and your dad?
Well, it was just us. We really had to prove to these companies that, we know our stuff, and, we can make this stuff go fast. And, not only me and my dad, I'm lucky to have, the support from, my wife. She's, she runs NMRA as well. And, my best friend, Nicky Notch, he runs X275. So it's pretty much, we all work together, and we make the combination prove itself to these companies so we get recognized. And that was, the biggest deal, because we never asked for anything. We always spent out of the pocket and worked our ass off for everything that we have. But now it's finally these companies recognize us, like Whipple and I did it, and, a bunch of different companies that, give us racer deals and stuff like that. Finally, because we have a good car. We have a car that works, and we have a team that's unstoppable. Whipple's on board with us. They've been great. Dustin, Nick, Stacy, they just have a, killer team that makes, unbelievable products. Their company, and I was just talking with Dustin about this, the other night. I told him, I'm like, this company, you have people at the track with you, and that's unheard of for all these performance and, any performance industry. Granted, you have, the vendors midway, stuff like that. But if you have, a representative, at the track with you that knows his stuff, who wants to get his hands dirty and wants to improve the product, that it's really something that you can't replace. They're constantly improving, constantly, giving us the edge that we need, and find every bit of horsepower, and giving me advice with the car. And, they really are an unbelievable company that, I'm really, truly, blessed to be working with. And, also I did it. I mean, their product is, it's made in the United States. It's lightweight. Their steering columns are, really are unbelievable. I can't really ask for anything more or anything less. So, check out their new race line. It's all lightweight, built aluminum, construction columns. They really are nice. Like we set up a booth at the track as well. So stop by my booth at any NMRA races and check them out or check them out in the car and
So that being said, you got some sponsors, you've had some success. What's your goals going into 2021?
I feel like every single team out there, you talk to them right now, I'm sure you see this with all your interviews, before they even go to the track, they want to dominate. And, we always, ever since I was growing up drag racing, since I was 8 years old, every single time we went to the track and whether it be the trailer and then we upgrade to the motorhome, stuff like that, my parents always came with us. They said, what's your goal? Why are we going to these races? And, what they wanted to hear was to have fun. And, if this truly is, your passion, you're going to enjoy it while being successful. On the other part, I want to dominate. I want to be, this year, my main goal is to have fun, do, what we do. We do have a ball. But my biggest thing is I want this car to be a feared car. I want that person in the other lane like, oh crap, that's Eric Bardekoff with his Mustang. And I want them to be feared. I want them to fear me. That's my biggest thing.
Well, that's a pretty good goal to have. You want to have some intimidation factor for the other guy in the other lane. You've motivated people at this point to want to follow you. Where are they going to follow you on social media so they can keep up with you in 2021 as you try to dominate in the NMRA?
You can follow me on Instagram at Eric Bardekoff. And, I'm all over Facebook, Eric Bardekoff on Facebook. You add me as a friend, but, mostly social media, at Eric Bardekoff. And then you could follow my work page, EV Custom Works. We're always tossing, some cool projects up that we're working on.
Well, Long Island, New York is definitely has a huge circle with people with last names like Nobile, Pacino, and now Bardekoff. Good luck to you in 2021, Eric, and I hope I see you at the racetrack.
Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to This Week in Drag Racing. The show is a production of Streetway Marketing and Media and DragRacer.tv. To find out more about us, or to find out how you can be a part of the show, call us today. We'd love to hear from you. Now stay tuned for more from This Week in Drag Racing.
This week's show focused on an individual who's wheeling a car for a race team and being successful. Also focused on an individual who is wheeling a car, doing it with his family, his dad, left a brand to be successful. Eric and his family are living the dream, taking a car that is not really built for the classes that they compete in, but yet they're competitive. And Andy Warren is taking a Caprice Classic Chevy and turning on wind lights. And what did he get out of his time racing? Got rewarded with a ride in a Copo. Eric also rewarded one of the fastest Mustangs in the classes that he competes in an NMRA. Everyone is passionate and motivated in this sport of drag racing. When we can all come together and collectively be competitive in our circles, we're given those characteristic traits from our families. Again, it's a positive thing to be involved with the world of motorsports. Even if it's your local track, doesn't have to be across the country with a lot of traveling. Come out, be involved. The amount of positive people that are out here to help you be a part of our world of motorsports, it's never ending. You're going to meet somebody like Andy Warren or Eric Bardekoff, who would love to have you stop by and say hello. And I would love to see you at the racetrack. We'll see you next week.